And our final speaker, well-known labor leader in the province, someone I know who gets up every day and says, how am I going to fight for workers today? How am I going to fight for social justice today? Please welcome my good friend and brother, Jim Sinclair.
Welcome! You know, if you ever had any doubt about the work that teachers do every day, then I think the previous speaker put all that to rest, didn't she, eh? I heard the other day that this was about massage or something. You know, it was embarrassing for the Premier to do that, but we all know, and so do British Columbians, that this is about public education and whether it's going to work for working people. Because let me say, and we need to say it over and over again, that public education for working people is called hope. Because when we look at our children, it is the education system that gives them the hope to a decent life. In the most profound sense, it is solidarity with the next generation that we demonstrate. And today that solidarity is being broken by the government, and we need to fix it, because when it's broken, so is the future of this province. They say yesterday, today's Fassbender said, what's his name, Fackbender? Yeah, that's right. Fackbender said, look, the world's different than 12 years ago, so we can't go backwards. Well, let me tell you, really, it is different. We now have the highest child poverty rate in the country. That's different. Our schools are under more pressure today than they have been in decades. And here's something we all have to understand. That when you're a little person, the world is a pretty big place. And if your world at home isn't working very well because your parents are poor and they have trouble getting food on the table, that's a problem for you as a little person, a big problem. And when you go to school and it doesn't work for you at school, then nothing works for your life. And that's fundamentally wrong. Wrong. So, if we want our schools to work, then we want those folks, all of those children, to come to a place that's full of support and full of hope and full of love, then we have to pay the price for that, Christy, and get back to the bargaining table and solve this dispute. $1,000 per student, less than the national average? Do you know how much that would put back into the system today if we just paid the national average? About $600 million a year. We could do a lot with that. And by the way, the children of British Columbia are just as important as the children of Alberta or Ontario or Nova Scotia. They deserve the best. You know, we just have to get the story straight, because they do a really good job of making it crooked. The real story is they ripped up the contract in 2002, and children lost that day. They lost over 2,500 teachers, and they lost smaller classes. And they've lost now for 12 years. And in the meantime, those uppity teachers went to court and said, you can't do this. And the court, oh my God, said, you know what, you're right. You're right. Go back and sit down with the teachers and fix the problem. Yes, it was a victory for all working people, that court decision, not just for teachers. So, what did the government do then? What the government do then was to cook up a scheme to force a confrontation, order teachers back to work, and impose another collective agreement. Well, you guys don't learn lessons easily. So back to court we went. And you went to court, they heard the case, and this time the judge says, you know what, you can't get anything right over there. So I'm going to fix it for you. I say to the government, put the language back in the collective agreement that was there in 2002. So we have to understand, the reason that nobody's in school this week is because the government has decided to punish kids the second time. They've closed down the schools so they can overrule the courts and take away what the courts gave to teachers and the kids in this province. That's what this is about. And we say to the government, the courts, you don't own them, we're not giving up. We say go back to the bargaining table or to arbitration, solve this dispute, and let the courts decide the issue. Arbitration. What a scary thing. In a big fight like this, you go to a third party and they solve the problem. It's not a perfect solution, but when you look at Fassbender to say, today he says, oh, the implications are terrible. Tell me what the implications are if we don't go to arbitration. Tell me what that is, Mr. Fassbender. What is your plan to solve the dispute? Because here's the truth about collective bargaining in this dispute. Yesterday, or this morning, I woke up and I got my newspaper and I read it. Now my blood pressure goes up then, usually. But I tell you, I read the newspaper and I heard the government say, we have some money for the lift fund. Now think about this, 18 months into a dispute. 18 months into a dispute, and they say finally the main issue is class size and composition. Don't let them tell you all that other crap. The fact is that's the issue. 18 months into the dispute, after 4 weeks of strike basically, they say we might have a little money. Now if we follow that pattern, we should be getting back to school sometime in February. So I say to the government today, our last poll asks a question of British Columbians. The question was clearly, if they can't solve the negotiations and the government can't make an offer that's acceptable, should the dispute go to arbitration and mediation? And not 50%, not 60%, not 70%, but 88% of British Columbians support your call for arbitration.
Happy birthday, babe. JB Adam Lubiner. I'm dying to marry you, but the treatment has got to change. Be unbelievable to me the way I know you really are.
Not funny. Anyway, always interesting life, sister. I hope that you solve this, and whoever she's talking to, fix this, would you, buddy? Yeah, okay? You gotta treat people right, okay? So, the bottom line is that you have now offered, and the people of British Columbia have offered, a solution that would put kids back to school on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. The ball, there you go. The ball is in the government's court. We need to spend the next period of time sticking together. We gotta stick together. I want to thank some people. I want to thank, obviously, teachers for their courage, the QP members for their courage. You are fighting for all working people. Thank you so much. I want to thank the other unions. We all get it. When you win, we win. If you lose, we lose. That's true in every dispute. It's especially true in this one. So thank you to the labor movement. We will not be divided. I almost lose my brain when I hear her saying, I want to be fair to 150,000 public sector workers. Well, if you want to be fair, give back the 15% you stole from 50,000 healthcare workers, okay? But really, what is this about being fair? I say to you, those 150,000 workers say to you, 500,000 workers say to you, get to that table, government, and make a deal. That's fair to children, fair to teachers and fair to British Columbia. That's what we need. So let's hang together, stick together, support your leadership because they're going to try and divide you some more. Support your leadership. Support that kind of rock star guy. He's doing a fabulous job. And together, we will win. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim, for your great leadership in the labor movement. We're going to stick together. I want to thank all the sisters and brothers from other unions here. Let's give them a big cheer. I want to thank all the parents in the crowd. All the students. And all of you brothers and sisters in the teaching profession, stay strong, hold the line. We are with you every step of the way. And we're going to do what we do best in the labor movement. We're going to stick together and fight for what we believe in. Have a straight trip home.